Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This is Dr. Maged Abdullah and you are watching Edu-Maged.
Unlocking the Power of Inquiry-Based Learning, a Comprehensive Guide. Inquiry-Based Learning, IBL, is a teaching method that encourages students to explore, investigate, and discover new knowledge. It allows students to take an active role in their own learning, fostering critical thinking and problem-solving skills. It can be used in a traditional classroom setting, as well as in an online or virtual learning environment. Benefits of inquiry-based learning. IBL is beneficial to students in many ways. It encourages students to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, as well as to become more independent learners. IBL also allows students to explore their interests and passions, and to make connections between their learning and the real world. Additionally, IBL fosters creativity and encourages collaboration between students. Inquiry-based learning models. There are several models of inquiry-based learning that teachers can use to structure their lessons and support student learning. Here are some of the most commonly used models. The 5E model. There are 5 stages involved in this model: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. During the engage stage, students receive an introduction to the topic and are prompted to ask questions. Throughout the explore stage, they delve into the topic and gather relevant information. During the explain stage, the teacher provides explanations and clarifications. In the elaborate stage, students are expected to use their knowledge to tackle real-world scenarios. Finally, in the evaluate stage, they reflect on their learning and evaluate their understanding. The inquiry cycle. The model incorporates a cyclical approach that includes questioning, investigating, and reflecting. During the questioning stage, students select a query that they wish to explore. Subsequently, they proceed to the investigating phase, where they collect data and carry out experiments. After that, they move on to the reflecting stage, where they analyze their findings and draw conclusions. The problem-based learning model. This model involves presenting students with a real-world problem to solve. Students work in teams to identify the problem, research possible solutions, and develop a plan of action. They then implement their plan and reflect on their process and results. The project-based learning model. This model involves students working on a long-term project that involves research, planning, and implementation. Students choose a topic that interests them and develop a plan of action. They work collaboratively to conduct research, gather information, and implement their project. Throughout the process, they reflect on their learning and assess their progress. The design thinking model. This model involves a problem-solving process that emphasizes empathy, ideation, prototyping, and testing. Students begin by empathizing with the needs of the user or audience. They then ideate and brainstorm possible solutions. They create prototypes and test their ideas, gathering feedback from users and refining their solutions. The inquiry-based learning is characterized by the following elements. Student-centered. Inquiry-based learning places the student at the center of the learning process. Teachers act as facilitators, guiding students through the process of asking questions, gathering information, and making connections. Authentic questions. Inquiry-based learning is driven by authentic questions that are relevant and meaningful to students. These questions should be open-ended, challenging, and require critical thinking and investigation. Research and investigation. Inquiry-based learning emphasizes research and investigation, with students encouraged to gather and evaluate information from a variety of sources, and to use this information to develop their own understanding. Reflection and evaluation. Inquiry-based learning requires students to reflect on their learning process and to evaluate their own understanding. This helps them to identify gaps in their knowledge and to set goals for future learning. Collaborative learning. Inquiry-based learning encourages collaborative learning, with students working together to ask questions, gather information, and develop understanding. This helps to develop communication, teamwork, and problem-solving skills. Inquiry-based learning assessment strategies. Assessing inquiry-based learning can be challenging, as it is a process-oriented approach that focuses on the development of skills and understanding, rather than simply the acquisition of knowledge. Here are some strategies for assessing inquiry-based learning. Criteria-based assessment. Define clear criteria for what constitutes successful inquiry-based learning, such as the ability to ask effective questions, gather and evaluate information, and reflect on learning. Provide students with rubrics or checklists that outline these criteria so they know what is expected of them. Formative assessment. Use formative assessment throughout the inquiry process to provide feedback to students and guide their learning. This might include check-ins, observations, and discussions with students about their progress. Reflection and self-assessment. Encourage students to reflect on their learning process and assess their own progress. Provide opportunities for them to evaluate their work against the criteria for successful inquiry-based learning. Peer assessment. Encourage students to provide feedback to each other throughout the inquiry process. This can help to develop their communication and critical thinking skills, and provide them with different perspectives on their work. Authentic assessment. Consider using authentic assessments, such as presentations, exhibitions, or projects, that allow students to demonstrate their learning in a real-world context. This can help to make the assessment process more meaningful and relevant to students. Summative assessment. Use summative assessment at the end of an inquiry-based learning unit to evaluate students' understanding and skills. This might include tests or exams, but should also include other forms of assessment that reflect the process-oriented nature of inquiry-based learning. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more educational content. See you in the next video.